Hello and welcome back to Democracy, everybody. Welcome back to Helldivers 2, where today we're going to be taking a look at all the secondaries and ranking them versus the bots. So first up, we've got the standard P2 Peacemaker, the starting pistol, and sadly, this one is not way great. If you watch my recent bug video, I kind of talked about this, where this one just doesn't really do that much towards most enemies. It does 75 damage per hit, it has light armor pen on it, holds 15 rounds. You get 6 spare mags with this, so you can spam it out pretty quickly. The laser on this is also kind of nice if you have it with the ballistic shield. The ballistic shield works really well against the bots, and the pistol is still okay. You can kill like the medium bots so long as you're hitting them in the head or in the backpack. You can kill them fairly quick. Then you can kill all the small bots with about 2 shots. I think it's 1 shot to the head to kill them, but most guns kill them pretty quickly. Doesn't really do anything towards big things, and it's just not going to be as good as most of the other secondaries for the jobs that you kind of want. It just sadly isn't really that great at the moment and sort of needs some kind of buff to it. So this one's going to go into our C tier. Not really that great, and I would recommend that you probably pick some other stuff. It still can work because, again, spamming down the small bots with this works fine, and killing the medium bots is okay with it too. As long as you got a primary that can take care of some more of the tougher enemies, you should be good to go, or a support weapon, then like you can still make this one work. Up next, we got the P19 Redeemer. This is the little submachine gun, and this one basically just does everything the pistol does, but a little bit better. Where this one you can also set to semi-auto. It does do less damage at 60 damage a shot, still has light armor pen, holds 31 rounds in it, or 30 plus 1 rounds into it. Doesn't hold very many extra mags though, and this submachine gun is really good against the small bots. It's okay against the medium bots. It works pretty well against the berserkers if they're charging you, but I still feel like you have some better options then. Against the other medium bots, like the ones with the shields or the striders, it can be kind of useful if you get behind them, but it's still not going to be one of the greatest. And it's still a little bit difficult to recommend this one. Like, you can spray down enemies at close range, so it is definitely better than the pistol. But I'm going to put the P19 Redeemer into B tier. I don't think it's as good on bots as it is on bugs. I think on bugs it works a bit better as just a bullet hose. This only is really, really useful if like the berserkers are actively charging you down, in which case then this one can be nice to have. And then we got the P113 Verdict, the Deagle. This one's pretty good against bots. This one has medium armor pen on it, which is already really good. It can hurt all the medium bots. This one does 125 damage per shot, which is good. That can one-shot headshot the other medium bots as well, and it can kill the small bots with 1 shot as well. Sometimes it takes 2, but sometimes you can get away with 1. Holds 10 rounds in the magazine. You get 8 spare mags with this, so you can spam it out pretty quickly. Again, it has the laser similar to the regular pistol, so it's actually really good in conjunction with the riot shield if you just want to go into first person and just aim for the weak spots on bots at kind of close range. This one actually works pretty well, and it's generally a pretty solid option for just about any kit. I don't think it's one of the craziest, but it's still like a solid A tier. I think it's really good against bots. Then we got the P4 Senator, the big iron here. This one's fantastic towards bots. This one has heavy armor pen on it, so you can hurt any bot with it. It can actually kill hulks pretty fast, especially if you have flashbangs. If you flashbang a hulk, then you can just dump this into their eye and you'll kill them right away. You can take down basically every bot with this. It's not going to be great against like tanks. It's not even way great against hulks unless you can stun them or they're not paying attention to you and you can shoot them in the back, but at least it gives you some option there. It can kill all the small and medium bots with basically 1 shot, at least if you hit the head on the medium bots. Small bots, you can just body tap them, and other things like the striders, you can 2-tap them, I believe, you hit them in the undercarriage. Otherwise, I think it's 3 into the leg that kills them. So the Senator is just fantastic. It's really good against bots. This one's going to be our very first S tier. It is really, really good. And now we move on to Melee, and Melee is kind of a hard sell against bots because bots usually don't let you get all that close to them, and they do actually have pretty good melee in return. So first up, we have the Stun Lance. This one does 110 damage, has light or kind of medium armor pen on it. It can stun enemies. This one also has the longest reach out of any of the melee options, and it is pretty much the best melee option against bots. But even then, it's still such a hard sell because it's scary to use this against berserkers, especially if there's more than one of them, since they can potentially just hit you with the chainsaw and maybe kill you if they hit you in the head with it. Striders, it's going to be really difficult. Most of the medium bots, it's difficult to get close to them, and they can just kind of smack you away. The Stun Lance is the best option out of the melees, but it's still really awkward. Even with peak physique, it's kind of awkward. So I'm going to put this into low B tier, but it's not way great there. It's much better against squids and bugs than it is against bots. Like, and the only reason I'm putting it here is because the other two are going to be going into like the C tier. Where next up we have the Stun Baton, another very awkward weapon. This does have guaranteed stuns on it, pretty guaranteed stuns, at least towards the medium bots. So it's kind of useful there. I don't think it has guaranteed stuns against the Striders though, and it doesn't against the Hulks. You can use this against the small and medium bots, but it's difficult and it has short reach. So a lot of the time bots might just trade with you as they hit you and you'll probably be knocked on the ground. So like in a 1v1 setting, this is kind of good. But if there's any more than one of them, even if they're just kind of aimlessly shooting at you in the general area, it could still pose to be a problem. And the stun baton is something I would probably not recommend most people take on bot missions. So I'm going to put this one into C tier. The combat hatchet is pretty much in the same boat as the stun baton, where it's mostly just the reach that makes it really awkward. Sometimes you'll have to be right up next to the bots, and a lot of times they'll just smack you back down. You'll fall on the ground, and it's just super awkward. So, like, it can kill them quickly. That's good. But, again, against bugs and squids, this one is much, much better. So, it's going to be, like, another C tier weapon. I don't know if it's necessarily better or worse than the stun baton. Both seem equally as awkward. Even when you have, like, the ballistic shield and you're trying to smack stuff with it, it's still pretty awkward. Then we move on to the special secondaries, and first up we have the syringe gun. This one pretty much has to go into our utility tier right here. The syringe gun is good. The stim pistol is kind of nice. It can heal allies. It can't really hurt enemies, although you can use it to blow up mines, which is kind of useful, since you probably won't need to be using all of your stims here. This is going to be best in a team setting. In solo, the stim pistol doesn't really do anything except for sweep for mines, but all the other secondaries, I guess besides the melee, can do that pretty easily. This is going to be best in a team setting, and it's best if you take like the experimental infusion booster with this, since that can apply to the stim pistol shots too. You can't really use this at super long range, but that's okay so long as your team is relatively close together, and bots are a whole lot less chaotic than like bugs or squids are. So, like, using this should be pretty easy to hit people, even at longer distances than what you would normally do. So, stim pistol's pretty good. Then we've got the SG-22 Bushwhacker. This is the sawed-off triple barrel shotgun. This one does 405 damage per shot, same as the Punisher. Has light armor pen on it, has knockback on it, which is pretty good. Holds 3 rounds. You can set this to either 1 barrel fire at a time, or you can fire out all 3 barrels. You do have to reload this one each individually. This one is in a similar position to like the Redeemer, where it's not bad. You can one-shot any of the small bots with this, and it can push away the medium bots. It's actually kind of better against berserkers, because if they get right on top of you, you can likely stun them with this, if not just outright kill them. So that is pretty good, but it's still not really the best against the bigger enemies. Like the ones that have shields, it's kind of awkward against. You're going to have to go around the side of like striders in order to hit them, or shoot the rockets on the side of them to kill them. And you can do that fairly easy with the shotgun here, but it's still a little bit more awkward than just killing them outright. So the shotgun I'm probably also going to put up into B tier. It's like the Redeemer's probably better against the shielded enemies, but worse against the berserkers, whereas like the Bushwhacker's better against berserkers, but kind of worse against the shield enemies. So I would say these two are pretty equal against bots. They're not bad, but not as good as some of the other options you got. Then we've got the Laz58 Talon. This one is the laser revolver. This one is our newest secondary weapon. This one does 200 damage per shot, which is quite high. Has medium armor pen on it, which is fantastic. And it has 7 shots in it, at least if you shoot it in quick succession, before it overheats. If you shoot it slower, then it can cool down, so you can get a whole lot more shots out of it, and it can potentially have infinite ammo. This one is really, really strong against the bots right now, because it's really easy to swap between your primary and secondary and just wait for this thing to cool down. It also pairs really well with the ballistic shield too, if you just want to be picking off enemies. And it's kind of like the Senator, just with infinite ammo. It can't hurt all the things the Senator can, like Hulk's it won't, but I would say it's kind of better against medium enemies, and it's better if the mission goes a whole lot longer. So the Laser Talon is going to go up into S tier as well. I think it's really good against the bots at the moment. Then we've got the P72 Crisper, the little flamethrower aerosol can. This thing is pretty awesome. I do like it a lot, and it's actually surprisingly strong against bots. The main problem with it is you do have to get up close with it. Not as close as melee, but you still have to get up close, and it doesn't really have any stagger on it like the Bushwhackers, which can kind of help against the medium bots. This one does 375 damage per second whenever you're blowing fire at the enemies. It can also leave fire on the ground. That's kind of useful, at least for the smaller bots. It's probably not going to do too much to the medium bots, and definitely not a whole lot to the big bots. Although this one can hurt big bots, because it does have a heavy armor pen on it too, thanks to the way fire works. It's not like as consistent as, let's say, like the Senator though. Senator's going to be a whole lot better for it. But if you want to melt the medium bots, like the flamethrower pistol is not bad at all. It's kind of awkward to recommend because of the ranges you have to fight in. So for me personally, I'm going to stick this in like the top of B tier because it is really good in certain circumstances. I mean, like under ideal circumstances, I would say this thing's like A tier, maybe even S tier if you can get to a position where you can just keep burning enemies and you just wait for the fire to do so much. Under less than ideal circumstances, like let's say you're on a really big wide open planet where you have to fight your way through everything, it's probably going to be C tier just because you're likely not going to get to use it all that much. So I'm going to compromise, put it in high B tier. Flamethrower pistol is actually surprisingly good. Not nearly as good as it is on bugs and squids, since so many of them have to be within melee range. Then this one is fantastic. The bots usually not so much. And like berserkers can potentially tank through this if you're not paying attention. And they can just run up and hit you, and that makes it kind of awkward. You do kind of have to preemptively burn them before they get too close. Next up, we got the GP31 grenade pistol. This one's pretty cool. This one is basically everything you'd want in a secondary for clearing up objectives. You can close down the bot factories thanks to this. It can hurt the bots that have shields. This one does 250 damage on the impact of the grenade and then 400 from the explosion. Has medium armor pen. You can kill the striders pretty easily with this. You can kill pretty much all the medium bots fairly easy with the grenade pistol. You don't get too many shots though. You get 6 in total plus the 1 in it, unless you're running the extra ammo armor, in which case then you get a little bit more. It's mostly there for knocking out structures, and it's pretty good against that. I don't think this one is as good against bots as it is against bugs. It's probably about the same between bots and squids, but it's still a really good option for just about any loadout. I'm going to put it in the utility tier because it's totally up to you whether you want to take this or not. You don't necessarily need this if you're running things like EATs or some other way of knocking out factories really easily. And since the factories aren't in weird positions like the bug tunnels are, it's a lot easier to knock them out with certain weapons like the EATs, the recoilless rifle, quasar cannon, things like that. You can just see them and shoot them. Spear can also knock them out, so that's pretty good. But the grenade pistol is not a bad option. Then we've got the Laz dagger. This one is the laser pistol, and it is still bugged. It's been bugged for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now, something like that. The Laz dagger is actually pretty good against bots. This one is a laser pistol that does 250 laser damage per second, deals damage over time, as well as it can light them on fire. Has light armor pen on it, and it has 3 spare mags, but again, it's bugged to where sometimes you can have infinite ammo with it. It's actually pretty easy to trigger that. It does take a second to charge up, but then you can just hold it on enemies, and if you do bug it out, then you basically have an infinite beam on there, which is actually really good against bots. It can kill small bots, and it can kill medium bots because it's really easy to just focus their head, focus their weak spot, so that's not bad. Another really good use for this thing is the bots tend to have a bunch of mines laying out, and even if this thing was in its unbugged state where it couldn't just have infinite ammo, the laser pistol is still really good for just knocking those out because you still basically have infinite ammo since you're not holding it on the mine very long at all. This one is pretty decent against bots, so I'm actually going to put this one up into A tier. It's probably like S tier right now thanks to the bug, just because you have infinite ammo for it, but assuming that gets fixed at some point, I'm just going to say it's A tier. Then we have the GP31 Ultimatum. This is the grenade launcher, and this one is pretty crazy on the bot missions. So this one has 1 shot, 2 shots if you count the extra that you can have with it. So it doesn't have very many shots. This one does 3,500 damage on the direct projectile hit, and then does 1,000 explosive damage, as well as has the highest amount of anti-armor on it out of any weapon, or at least it's tied with the other weapons that are up there. So this one is really, really good for knocking out big things. You do a lot of damage to factory striders. It might actually be able to kill them if you shoot it inside of them. I haven't actually done that, I don't think, but it does do a lot of damage to them. It can one-shot hulks, it can one-shot tanks. It's much easier to one-shot those enemies than it was against the bugs too, just because they're generally larger targets and they tend to move around less than something like the Titans or the Chargers, where Chargers aren't too difficult to hit so long as they're charging directly at you. Titans can be a little bit more tricky because just how big they are. Tanks usually aren't that big of a deal to knock out. On top of that though, this can also knock out mission objectives, which is one of the best things against the bots, because this can knock out like the detection tower, it can knock out the signal jammers, and you don't need to go through the whole thing of setting up like a hell bomb in order to blow those up. This plus the Hellbomb backpack is actually really, really good. Maybe not always in combination, but really, really good on bot missions for actually taking those objectives. So the Ultimatum, even though I put it in utility last time for the bugs, because I think it's more of a nice choice on those, I'd probably put this one up into S tier versus the bots though, because it's just so nice to be able to instantly delete a tank. It's so nice to delete a Hulk, or just delete a detection tower, or delete some other building that's just making it much more difficult for my team. Having the Ultimatum is super nice for those. And And with bots, usually you're not running out of ammo as much as like bugs and squids. At least I find I'm not shooting as often. So relying more on my primary weapon isn't that big of a deal, especially if I want to take this with like the slugger or something, then I'm usually fine on ammo. And then our very last secondary is the Plas 15 Loyalist, the little plasma pistol, which is also quite good against bots. It's really nice. This one does 125 damage, same as the Deagle, has medium armor penetration, same as the Deagle. This one holds 7 shots though, and doesn't hold as many mags, but this one you can charge up and you can hit enemies with it. And it can hurt the bots through the shields, it can also hurt like the Striders, it can kill like all the medium and even some of the heavy bots pretty easily. It's not that bad. If you find yourself spamming it out, then it's not as good as something like the Deagle. I would say that one's better. But as long as you're taking those times to do the charged up shots every once in a while, like the Plas pistol is generally really good. So this one's going to be like another high A tier. Potentially better than the Deagle, potentially worse. Deagle's a lot more spammable and it's a lot more forgiving. You don't really have to think about it. Whereas the plasma pistol, you can play the same way, but it's just going to be more unforgiving then. You're going to run through ammo quicker. But if you're using the charged up shots, it does give you an extra something against the bots. So that'll do it for the bot secondaries. Tell me your thoughts on these. Where would you place them? I'd really be interested in hearing that. Thanks for watching this. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.